Here is a truth most people will spend their entire lives running from. Your biggest enemy is not trauma. It's not society. It's not your parents. It's not bad luck. Your biggest enemy is the part of you that enjoys staying weak. That part doesn't scream. It whispers. It says, be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. You're doing your best. And sometimes those words are wisdom, but most of the time, they're anesthesia. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this long before self-help culture existed. He saw a future where weakness would be protected, explained, and even celebrated. And he warned us, because Nietzsche didn't believe humans were meant to be comfortable. He believed we were meant to overcome ourselves. And the moment you decide, no more mercy toward my weakness, everything changes. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many times have you recognized your weakness and then negotiated with it? You know exactly what I mean. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. I'm just tired. I need more time to heal. This is just who I am. And slowly, quietly, your weakness becomes familiar, predictable, comforting. Nietzsche believed this was the greatest danger of modern life. Not suffering, comfort, because comfort freezes growth. And growth, according to Nietzsche, is the entire point of existence. He believed life itself asks one question over and over again. Will you become stronger, or will you decay politely? This matters because weakness doesn't disappear on its own. It waits. And the longer you show it mercy, the more it takes from you. Pause for a moment. This video is not about becoming heartless. It's not about cruelty. And it's definitely not about domination over others. Nietzsche wasn't interested in power over people. He was obsessed with power over the self. And here's the pattern interrupt. Your weakness does not want to be healed. It wants to be protected. Once you see that, you can never unsee it. Here's the uncomfortable psychological truth. Weakness survives by convincing you it deserves compassion. Nietzsche called this decadence. Not physical weakness, but spiritual softness. A state where the individual avoids tension, avoids risk, avoids responsibility, and then moralizes that avoidance. He saw this everywhere. People calling fear humility, calling avoidance peace, calling resentment morality. And the darkest part? Weakness learns language. It learns how to sound intelligent, ethical, reasonable. So instead of saying, I'm afraid, it says, I'm just being realistic. Nietzsche understood something brutal. What you tolerate in yourself, you eventually become. And mercy toward weakness is not kindness. It is permission. Here's the paradox Nietzsche forces you to face. The same voice that says, be gentle with yourself, is often the same voice that keeps you small. So how do you know when compassion is wisdom and when it's sabotage? Nietzsche's answer was shocking. He said the test is simple. Does it make you stronger? If not, it's decay. Let's strip Nietzsche down to his core idea. Nietzsche believed life is will to power, not power as domination, but power as expansion, growth, intensity, self-overcoming. To Nietzsche, a good life was not a happy life. It was a full life, one where you face resistance and do not collapse. Weakness, in Nietzsche's psychology, is not failure. It's refusal. Refusal to endure discomfort. Refusal to sharpen oneself. Refusal to carry weight. That's why Nietzsche admired struggle. Not because pain is good, but because resistance reveals strength. And here's the key distinction. Nietzsche never said, destroy yourself. He said, destroy what keeps you from becoming. Your excuses, your sentimental attachments to limitation, your identity built around fragility. That's what he meant by no more mercy. Nietzsche lived most of his life in pain, crippling migraines, digestive illness, isolation, rejection. He was not physically strong. He was not socially powerful. And yet, He refused to build an identity around his suffering. He wrote while sick. He thought while alone. He created while misunderstood. Nietzsche didn't erase weakness by denying reality. He erased it by refusing to let weakness define his values. That distinction matters. Here's the wake-up slap. If you keep asking life to be easier, you are training yourself to be weaker. Life does not reward comfort. It rewards adaptation. And every time you choose ease over growth, you tell your nervous system, I am not capable. Nietzsche believed this was the real tragedy. Not suffering, but self-betrayal. Let's be very clear. No more mercy does not mean ignoring mental health, suppressing emotion, becoming cold or cruel. It means ending negotiation with your lowest tendencies. It means saying, I see this impulse and I refuse to obey it. Nietzsche called this self-mastery, not repression, direction. You still feel fear. You still feel resistance. You still feel pain. You just stop letting them vote. Weakness feels convincing because it speaks in your own voice. It doesn't say, ruin your life. It says, rest a little longer. Don't push today. You deserve comfort. Nietzsche warned that modern humans would confuse comfort with meaning. And meaning, he said, only comes from overcoming resistance. Without resistance, there is no depth, only distraction. Here's what mercy toward weakness quietly costs you. Delayed potential, chronic self-doubt, resentment toward stronger people, a shrinking sense of identity, and eventually, contempt for yourself. Nietzsche believed self-contempt was the root of nihilism, not because life is meaningless, but because the individual has abandoned their capacity to shape it. Here is one actionable habit directly aligned with Nietzsche. Every day, identify one small act of resistance, something uncomfortable, something effortful, something you usually avoid, and do it without negotiation. No motivation, no emotional debate, no mercy, not to punish yourself, but to prove to yourself that weakness does not rule you. Nietzsche believes strength is built through evidence, not affirmations. Each act says, I can carry more than I think. And slowly, your identity changes. Nietzsche never promised happiness. He promised becoming, and becoming requires a ruthless honesty with yourself. Not hatred, not cruelty, but clarity. The moment you stop showing mercy to what keeps you small, life responds differently. You stand differently. You choose differently. You respect yourself. If this resonated, if it felt uncomfortably precise, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We explore philosophy, psychology, and self-overcoming here, without comfort narratives and without lies. And remember, you are not here to be preserved. You are here to be forged, and forging requires fire.